Sandy Brondello just got fired. Yes, the same Sandy who coached the Liberty to a championship, a franchise record, and one of the highest win percentages in WNBA history. Gone. Out. Tossed aside by the New York Liberty like her resume was printed on tissue paper. And now, all eyes are locked on Indiana. Specifically, Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever. Because here's the twist.
If you're here for the real story and not the filtered version, subscribe. And if you're sticking around for the next meltdown, you better definitely subscribe.
The real story might not be about a firing at all. It might be about a power play, a silent war over control, and one of the most potentially game-changing alliances the WNBA has ever seen. Brondello and Clark, a pairing that fans are begging to happen, but one that the league itself might be desperate to block. Let's rewind. Brondello didn't just lose a job. She got cut loose from one of the most stacked rosters in the league. Brianna Stewart, Jonquil Jones, Sabrina Ionescu. And still they said it wasn't enough. After taking that super team to the finals and delivering their first ever ring, she was shown the door. The Liberty's front office spun it as performance, but no one's buying that. Not when she's one of the most respected coaches in the game. Not when she's got 2 rings and a Hall of Fame caliber track record. Not when even opposing players, like Caitlin Clark, are openly aligning themselves with her. That's right, Clark traded for Brondello during the 2025 All-Star Game. Literally handed her All-Star coach to someone else just to be coached by Brondello for 1 game. That wasn't subtle. That was a move. It signaled respect. It hinted at chemistry. And it whispered loudly about what could happen next. Since then, the whispers have turned into full-blown speculation. Is Brondello about to head to Indiana and coach Clark full-time? Fans want it. Analysts want it. Even Clark seems to want it. But here's the problem. Not everyone in the league office seems thrilled about the idea. Behind the scenes, there are rumblings that this potential duo threatens the status quo. That letting Clark, the league's fastest rising star, link up with a proven mastermind like Brondello could tip the balance of power in a way the WNBA isn't ready for. Because a Clark-Brondello super team? That's not just ratings gold. That's a storyline that reshapes the whole league. And apparently, that scares people. So now we're watching a chess game. On one side, Clark's star power, Brondello's championship pedigree, and a fan base foaming at the mouth. On the other, silent resistance, coded press releases, and an oddly timed firing that just might be a strategic delay. The question isn't should Sandy go to Indiana. The question is, will they even let her? Sandy Brondello just got fired from the New York Liberty after leading them to one of the most successful stretches in franchise history. Yeah, fired, out, gone. After a championship, deep playoff runs, and a record that most coaches would kill for. The news dropped like a bomb in the WNBA world, and not the kind that makes sense on paper. Fans are shocked, analysts are confused, and suddenly, the league's politics are under the spotlight because nobody can figure out why this happened unless you start connecting some very uncomfortable dots. Let's just get this out of the way. Brondello didn't lose her job because she failed. She lost it because she succeeded too much in the wrong way, with the wrong people, and possibly at the wrong time. And if you think that sounds dramatic, buckle up because this goes way deeper than one coaching change. This might be about something much bigger. Caitlin Clark. Sandy Brondello is not just any coach. She's a 2-time WNBA champion. Her resume is stacked. She's known for her ability to elevate rosters, develop stars, and steer teams through chaos. She doesn't just manage players, she unlocks them. That's exactly what she did in New York. She built a championship team, finally got the Liberty over the hump, and delivered the franchise its first ever WNBA title. But apparently, that wasn't enough. Or maybe it was too much for the people behind the scenes. According to official statements, the Liberty front office cited performance concerns as the reason for Brondello's dismissal. Let's break that down. You have a coach with one of the best win records in the league, fresh off a championship, and that's who gets called underperforming? It's not just confusing, it's insulting. And fans weren't buying it for a second. Because once you pull back the curtain, a different story starts to form. One involving power struggles, internal politics, and, at the center of it all, one of the league's most disruptive rising forces, Caitlin Clark. Let's talk about Caitlin for a second. She's not just a star player. She's a movement. She's shifting attention, viewership, and expectations. And the league knows it. Everyone wants to mold her, manage her, maybe even control her trajectory. But Clark doesn't seem interested in being managed. She's shown from day one that she wants to be coached by someone who gets her style of play: fast, high IQ, and aggressive. Someone who can match her intensity and help her grow into something even bigger than the hype. And guess who fits that description perfectly? Yeah, Sandy Brondello. If this all sounds speculative, let's rewind to the 2025 All-Star Game. Clark didn't just play. She made a trade for Brondello to coach her team. Think about that. She actively arranged to have Brondello by her side. That move wasn't subtle, and it definitely wasn't random. It sent a message loud and clear. This is the coach I trust. Now jump forward to Brondello being fired. Suddenly, the Indiana Fever, Clark's team, is sitting there with an open coaching opportunity. And fans? They're practically begging for Brondello to get the job. Social media lit up with posts demanding the Clark-Brondello partnership. Analysts have already started drawing up dream scenarios. The chemistry is real, and the timing couldn't be better. Except it hasn't happened yet. And now people are wondering if it ever will. Because behind the scenes, there's a growing sense that the league doesn't want this. The firing of Brondello doesn't feel like a coincidence. It feels like a calculated move, one that signals exactly how uncomfortable the league might be with the idea of Clark gaining too much momentum, of forming an alliance with a coach who actually understands how to maximize her. And if you're thinking that sounds paranoid, ask yourself, why would anyone in their right mind fire one of the most successful coaches in the WNBA right after she proves her system works? This isn't about performance. It's about control. The WNBA is in a transitional era. Stars like Caitlin Clark are changing the landscape. The spotlight is growing. The money, the attention, the power, it's all shifting. And when that happens, institutions panic. They start pulling strings. They create narratives to maintain the status quo. Sandy Brondello getting tossed aside? That's not just a roster move. It's a power play. A message. Maybe even a warning. Because if Brondello joins Indiana, the balance of power shifts. Clark would finally have the coach she chose. Not one handed to her by the league. Not someone safe. Someone effective. Someone who's already shown she can coach champions and develop stars without catering to front office politics. That kind of freedom? It scares people. And maybe the league is scared. Scared that Clark and Brondello together could dominate the way no duo has before. Scared that they'll make other franchises look irrelevant. Scared that the media coverage, fan attention, and sponsorship dollars will all start orbiting one team. And if that happens, the league's carefully maintained equilibrium explodes. There's already evidence that the league doesn't know how to handle Clark's rise. From awkward all-star moments to strange officiating patterns to tension with veteran players, the vibe has been weird. And now, with Brondello floating in the coaching void, it's starting to feel intentional. Like someone is trying to slow this train down before it becomes unstoppable. Because let's be honest, Clark with Brondello is a problem for every other team. Brondello is known for maximizing player efficiency, running structured but flexible offenses, and getting the most out of young talent. She doesn't just coach systems, she coaches people. And Clark is the kind of player who doesn't need micromanaging. She needs elevation, empowerment. Someone who says, "You want to go nuclear? Let's build the rocket." And yet, the Fever haven't made a move. Are they waiting on league approval? Is there pressure behind the scenes? Or is this just a slow-motion power struggle, where everyone's waiting to see who flinches first? The fans aren't waiting. They've made it clear who they want. And Clark has already given her stamp of approval. So, what's the holdup? The answer might be as simple as this. The league isn't ready for the shift. Because a Clark-Brondello duo isn't just a coaching change. It's a revolution. It's the kind of move that could blow up the league's narrative structure. That could finally give Clark the freedom to be the face of the WNBA without caveats, without politics, without compromise. And for some people in charge, that might be one step too far. So here we are, a championship coach without a team, and a rising superstar with all the tools except the one she really wants. And the question hanging over everything is, will the league let this happen? Or will it find another way to stall, delay, and deflect, while pretending it's just business decisions? Because fans see through that now. They're watching. They know what a smokescreen looks like. And if this is one, it's a clumsy one. Sandy Brondello didn't get fired because she failed. She got fired because her presence threatens the wrong people's plans. Because pairing her with Clark would make a league-shaking statement. That talent and vision win out over politics and control. And if the Indiana Fever can make the bold move and bring her in, that's not just a coaching hire. That's a war cry. That's the start of a new chapter in the WNBA. One where stars pick their paths, coaches get rewarded for results, and the game actually grows beyond boardroom decisions. The only question left is, will the league let it happen? If you're watching this mess unfold, you're not alone. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the WNBA is blocking Brondello from coaching Clark? Should the Fever make the move already? And if they don't, who's really pulling the strings? And hey, if you love watching the drama unfold from the sidelines with just enough popcorn, hit that subscribe button. There's more chaos coming. Always is. Because here's the thing, this isn't just about one coaching decision anymore. It's about a ripple effect that's revealing a whole ecosystem of dysfunction, and fans are finally seeing how deep it goes. Let's be blunt. The WNBA wants growth. They want headlines, ratings, viral clips, ticket sales. And when Caitlin Clark showed up, she delivered all of that in her rookie year. She didn't just bring eyes to the game. She redefined what attention looked like for women's basketball. But with that spotlight came scrutiny. Every missed call, every foul, every tense on-court moment blew up online. Suddenly, the league's old ways of managing narratives weren't holding anymore. People weren't just watching the games. They were dissecting the politics behind them. And then Sandy Brondello gets canned? Weeks after Clark chooses her as a coach in front of the entire world during All-Star Weekend? There's no way that's not connected. You could try to spin it with a press release, but the timing tells its own story. And it's not subtle. There's a real fear now that the league doesn't want Clark to have that much agency. That they're okay with her being the face of a league, as long as she plays by the unspoken rules. Don't challenge authority. Don't rock the boat. Stay grateful. Stay in line. But Clark? She doesn't do in line. She does logo threes and 40-minute marathons. And I'll trade for the coach I wanted All-Star. Thank you very much. That kind of energy breaks molds. And people in power hate broken molds. Let's go back to the Liberty. This was a franchise that had been chasing relevance for years. Brondello gets there and boom, they're contenders. She turns a team into a unit, a hype machine into a real championship squad. And then they fire her? Let's not pretend this is about tweaking the system for better results. That's like firing your chef because your Michelin star dinner was too good. No, this is about removing someone who wasn't going to play the politics game. Someone who might have been planning her next move already. Someone Clark already tapped as her person. It's not hard to see why that would spook people. Because the truth is, Brondello and Clark together would be a problem. For everyone. The stats, the game film, the locker room vibes, it would all level up instantly. And not just in Indiana. It would shift the balance across the entire league. Right now, the WNBA is still built around certain strongholds. Veteran franchises, legacy players, entrenched coaching staffs who've been around since the Nokia era. The minute a new power center forms, especially one that isn't approved, the dominoes start to fall. And the gatekeepers? They're not letting go of that power without a fight. That's what makes this so much bigger than Brondello's firing. It's about what kind of league the WNBA wants to be. One that embraces evolution and lets its biggest stars collaborate and win. Or one that keeps pretending control equals success while shoving high-performing coaches out the side door like they're liabilities. And you gotta ask, why is Brondello suddenly being treated like a liability? There's no scandal, no drama, just results. Results that should have guaranteed her job. She didn't lose the locker room. She led it. She didn't flop in the playoffs. She brought a ring home. So the only thing left, the only thing that might make sense, is that the league or the Liberty decided she was becoming too big a piece in the wrong narrative. Because if Brondello ends up coaching Clark, suddenly that story isn't about the WNBA nurturing talent. It's about Clark choosing Brondello. And that's a shift in power the league isn't ready for. Let's talk about that all-star moment again, because it really was a seismic moment disguised as a cute trade. Clark, a rookie on the national stage, picks her coach. Not just any coach, Brondello. You don't do that unless there's already trust there. Unless you've been watching from afar and thinking, that's the one. And what did Brondello do in return? She showed up. She coached Clark's team like it was a playoff game. Their chemistry? Instant. It wasn't just mutual respect. It was strategic alignment. Two minds in sync. A player who sees the whole court and a coach who already built winning systems around that kind of vision. The potential there is enormous. And maybe too enormous. Because here's where it gets really uncomfortable. If the WNBA isn't facilitating that partnership, if it's actively blocking it, then we're looking at a league that's sabotaging its own growth. That's letting politics override performance. And fans are watching. The Fever's front office is watching. And Clark? She's watching too. Do you really think she doesn't know what's happening? Clark may be young, but she's not naive. She's been in the media cycle for years already. She knows how power works. She's seen what happens when women in sports start making their own choices. And she's seeing what happens when a coach who clearly gets her is suddenly pushed out of a job under a cloud of vague performance talk. You think she's not connecting the dots? Please. And now, the spotlight is on the Indiana Fever. This is the team that has a generational star, a rabid fan base, and a golden opportunity. They could pick up one of the most respected coaches in the game right now. But so far, nothing. No announcement. No confirmation. Just silence. So what are they waiting for? Because every day that Brondello remains unsigned, the optics get worse. It looks less like hesitation and more like obstruction. Like something or someone is applying pressure behind the scenes. And if that's true, it's not just shady, it's self-destructive. You've got the momentum, you've got the talent, and you have a perfect storm of opportunity to create a legacy pairing. And instead, we're all waiting around while the best coach on the market sits at home. It's giving sabotage. It's giving fear. It's giving, we don't want this pairing to happen because it would change the game too fast. But here's the truth they're not ready for. The game is changing. Clark is already shifting fan behavior, media attention, and commercial interest. If the league wants to stay relevant in 5 years, they need to stop fighting the current and start swimming with it. Let Clark pick her coach. Let Brondello build something. Let the new era begin. Because if they don't, if they keep dragging this out, making excuses, and pretending it's just coincidence, they're going to lose the trust of the very audience they're trying to grow. People want transparency. They want performance rewarded. They want to see stars and coaches shine, not get benched by politics. And most of all, they want to believe the league isn't scared of its own future. So here's the moment of truth. The league, the Fever, the front offices, they've got a choice. Let this union happen and evolve with the game, or bury it and watch the fans turn cynical. Because they already know what's going on. They've seen the moves. They've watched the patterns. They're not buying the PR anymore. This isn't just a coaching shuffle. It's a turning point. If Brondello gets to Indiana, it could mark the beginning of the WNBA's next phase. Player empowerment, coaching integrity, real results. But if she's kept out by invisible hands and unspoken agendas, then the league will have to answer for why it keeps choosing control over greatness. And when that happens, no press release will fix the damage. Sandy Brondello is right there. A proven winner. A 2-time champ. Available. Willing. And yet, no team has pulled the trigger. No press conference. No leak. No sources say to indicate movement. That's not just odd. It's suspicious. When one of the best basketball minds in the league is sitting on the sidelines while a generational star like Caitlin Clark is navigating her rookie year without the kind of mentorship Brondello offers, it doesn't take a conspiracy theorist to start asking uncomfortable questions. Because if the roles were reversed, if a coach failed to deliver, missed the playoffs, or lost the locker room, that firing would make sense. But Brondello didn't fail. She succeeded. She turned New York into a force. She lifted a long-suffering franchise to the top and did it with calm, calculated leadership. No scandals. No locker room fallouts. Just wins. And what did that get her? A pink slip and an awkward press release. This is what happens when politics creeps too far into the game. When results start matching less than optics. When a league becomes more concerned with protecting its internal power dynamics than amplifying what's clearly working. Because let's be real, Brondello and Clark working together? That's not just a good story. That's box office. That's season ticket bumps. That's nationally televised games that actually get watched. The synergy between a visionary player and a mastermind coach is the stuff dynasties are built on. You don't block that. You build around it. Unless you're scared of what they'll do together. Scared they'll win too fast. Scared they'll overshadow legacy teams. Scared they'll shift the conversation in ways you can't script or spin. Because Clark doesn't play it safe and Brondello doesn't play politics. Together, they're unpredictable in the best way. And maybe that's exactly what the league can't handle right now. So while we all wait, the message is getting louder. Fans aren't going to be patient forever. Every day, Brondello stays unsigned. Every game Clark plays without her, the frustration builds. And that tension, it's not going away. If anything, it's becoming the main storyline. Because what's more dramatic than a superstar searching for the one coach who can take her to the next level, while invisible forces seem hellbent on keeping them apart? We're watching a slow-motion power struggle play out in real time. It's not just about basketball anymore. It's about autonomy, legacy, control. So if you're tired of the vague excuses, the PR spin, and the chess game no one asked for, stick around. Because the storm isn't over. If anything, it's just warming up. And when this thing finally breaks, you want to be here for every second of it. Don't forget to drop your thoughts in the comments, and hit that subscribe button. Because when the league finally makes its move, whether it's bold or cowardly, we'll be right here breaking it all down.